Hey everyone, as promised, it is Yael, clairvoyant, intuitive energy healer, and life coach. And if it's relevant, Detroit investment realtor, paranormal, supernatural, human phenomena expert, Yael Meisels. How in the heck are you today, this Monday? So I know there's been a little bit of a break, getting back on top of things. And today is a topic that is so horrible, so horrible. Um, Hopefully we can laugh at the horror of this shit. And oh, baby, it's shit. All right. Today we are talking about either current doctor, hopefully soon will not be a doctor, Anthony Amakshimo Fauci. Amakshimo to Anthony Fauci. You are evil, wicked, and stupid. We are talking about god awful Anthony Fauci today. Man, oh man. So let's unpack the picnic basket, if you will. Now, I was bullied into getting this fakakta vaccine. Now, I do high level energy clearing. I was able to rip shit out of my system. Okay, what about the people who can't, right? And I will be the first to tell you that I was bullied to get this vaccine. Now, I got it. Thank God none of us got hurt. But we now find out so many things. Jeffrey Epstein is connected to this vaccine. Bill Gates is connected to this vaccine. Obviously, Anthony Fauci is connected to the whole shit. This is Anthony Fauci's stamp on humanity. We have to understand we as a collective population have been victimized in one of the worst ways human beings can be victimized by putting something, lying to us so badly. First, you create a disease deliberately in a lab, deliberately created a disease, then created a vaccine that it's really just some sort of gene therapy that we find out was helped, developed by Bill Gates and Jeffrey Epstein. We know about Bill Gates, but Jeffrey Epstein, there's even been conspiracy theories that I swear to you are true that has Jeffrey Epstein DNA in the fucking vaccine, bowel worshipping Amakshimo, Jeffrey Epstein, Amakshimo DNA in the damn vaccine. Yep. So all of us who fell for this lie, right? And I'll be the first to admit I fell for the lie too. So all of us who fell for this lie are now riddled with Jeffrey Epstein cooties, for fuck's sake. And we find out that this Fauci goddamn piece of shit, Amakshimo, garbage head, dumpster fire of a human being, did this intentionally and actually wrote in a diary, like, oh God, like, dear, he went, you guys, he wrote, dear diary, show me any man who talk. I mean, how, the ick itself and just the amount of attention this man got. You know, I was thinking about this. It's so egregious. It's so horrible. And we're not even going to talk today about just how egregious and horrible it is. Well, what does the energy now say around Fauci? What does the energy look like? Well, if you see today, I dressed for the occasion. Gray, gray, The energy around Fauci is charcoal hell, Gehenna, pitch black, dementors from Harry Potter gray. All right. It's like so charcoal gray, it's black. That's what the energy, that's what color his aura is. You have to understand something. This man has been able to do something that Hitler wasn't even able to do. He did. He murdered millions of people, directly and indirectly, ripped families apart for years. There are families today that still haven't spoken. Is he the heir of Rav? He's an Amalekite. He's an Amalekite. He's a satanic Baal worshiping pedophile. He's no better than John Podesta. He's no better than Jeffrey Epstein. He's no better than Bill Gates. These people are all Satanists. They're all Satanists. This was a deliberate satanic attack on humanity. And as a professional clairvoyant, I'm going to call it, I truly believe without a shadow of a doubt that we're going to have so much shit come out about Fauci's connections with Epstein and Bill Gates, that these people were like a triangle of fucking evil, okay? They did this to us, humanity, deliberately, all right? They did it to us deliberately, which leads me to my next point. And I swear to God, I don't want to hear anybody give me the bullshit, all right, that I'm inciting violence. Shut the fuck up. This man deliberately murdered millions of people. Millions of people. My mother indirectly died of this COVID shit. Millions of people, all right, have been affected by this. You expect me to believe that not one person, not one, isn't going to take justice into their own hands? You better believe Anthony Fauci is the number one hated human being in the planet right now. Anthony Fauci is without a doubt going to be assassinated. All right. And this isn't Yael calling for violence. This is Yael reading the fucking room. All right. You expect me to believe, after the amount of damage this man caused, so people are just going to let him live? No. And that's if he's not brought to some sort of legal justice, which, believe me, this pardon came from Joe Biden, a man who should have never sat as a sitting president of the United States of America. That is we would say in the laws of kashrut, a trafe pardon. Believe me, it'll be reversed. And that's if someone doesn't take a rifle and blow his fucking brains out before that happens, which I'm not sold isn't going to happen. Listen, I don't live in D.C. I don't own any guns. I don't have any way to go annihilate Fauci. But so many people do. And in the world we live in today, it is straight up naivete of the umpth degree to think that Anthony Fauci isn't walking with a target on his back. And my acknowledging this isn't inciting violence. It's calling a spade a spade. Do I think if someone blows his brains out, he deserves it? Of course I do. Am I going to be the one to do it? No. Do I think someone should go do it? No. Is it going to happen regardless of what I want? Yes. Do I give a shit? No, because this man murdered millions of people directly and indirectly and poisoned those of us who did take the vaccine, poisoned us, turned us away from our families, turned us away from our friends. I have one of my best friends won't go near a person who took the vaccine. hmm Mm. I'll be honest with you. I'll tell you exactly why I took the vaccine. I will tell you. Honey, this is not a conversation about aliens. This topic of conversation is about Fauci. Aliens, to make a long story short, they're 100% real. They're a creation of the creator, just like there are good aliens or good people, there are bad aliens and bad people. They are what comes through to me intuitively is they are a brand of humanity. I did do a topic on the podcast the Purgatory Club. I don't think I ever posted that video. I will where I talk more in depth on what I think about them. But I will do a topic on that at a later date. But listen, there's a narrative that isn't true. Sorry, that all aliens are demonic. That's not true. They are creations of Hashem, just like you and I. And, they're now, from what I understand of alien humanity, they are far more together than we are, a lot more unity, a lot less bullshit and violence. If in some planets and solar systems, I'm hearing like there's no bullshit. So, my pleasure, honey. So, yeah. But getting back to Fauci, I believe this was done, speaking of aliens, where this is relevant to aliens, is these people worship reptilians, Amakshimo. They do horrible things to keep at peace with a reptile. They're called the Anunnaki Amakshimo, and it's really a guess whether or not they're still around. And if they have been annihilated, I understand it's a recent development. Okay, this is just what the energy says and what I've seen in meditation in regard to the Anunnaki Amakshimo. Now, these people were worshiping the Anunnaki, who are also satanic, Baal worshiping, Moloch worshiping pieces of shit. So is Fauci in cahoots with bad aliens? Of course he is. Just like Jeffrey Epstein was. You have to understand something. This man lived in places that were in the middle of nowhere, and you would have to have studied occultism like your girl did for 30 some years to understand what some of these sculptures and monuments that you see on the properties even mean. Like, these are people that have taken, a satanic culture so far back that, we're talking about worshiping the shit that, was a problem in Egypt for us back before the parting of the Red Sea. You know what I'm saying? So, yes, that is still a problem that is relevant to Fauci indirectly. And I do believe with the arrival of Mashiach, please God, immediately, we are going to have a lot of attention. We're going to have a lot of attention and explanation, I think, further brought to that, because unfortunately, the only thing we have to go on right now is intuitive evidence until the government, and which I believe they will. I also believe a lot of things. I believe the government knows exactly the identity of Mashiach. And Rifki, I can tell you right now, girlfriend, there are people that you and I know personally that I have gone toe to toe with on the topic of Mashiach. I totally believe the government is very aware of who Mashiach is. I don't think that is lost on the government. I also think there are things in place to bring this about harmoniously rather than a complete shit show. But yes, there's a leader walking around right now, Mashiach ben David and Yosef, that are about to be public information very soon. May God reveal Mashiach to the nations and humanity immediately. But most of the testimony we have talking about aliens is done from people in, with the abilities that similar to what I have, and what has come through in meditation. But that is there seems to be uh, matching information, for lack of a different word, in like what I've seen in vision about alien humanity, what other people have seen in vision about alien humanity. And listen, there are some Orthodox Jews that believe and Christians too, and probably Muslims, the Makshemot of Islam, that probably, not probably, definitely believe that all alien humanity is demonic. It isn't. These are grossly misinformed people that have not studied this near enough to even have an opinion, let alone have landed on that one. All right, stupid. But I look at the karma of Anthony Fauci. First of all, there is not a chance in any dimension this man would go to heaven. All right. There's no circumstance Anthony Fauci is ever going to go to heaven. This is unforgivable. And I'm telling you, as a military level clairvoyant, this man has a target on his head, and someone is gonna hit that target with a bullet. I guarantee it. And that, again, that is not me inciting violence. You have to get down to the crux of what this man did. In so many ways, this was a silent Holocaust against humanity. This was a silent Holocaust of good versus evil, where evil really did get a chance to one-up us. They did. Rifki says, yes, Stephen Greer does CS5 and does remote viewing with good aliens. Fauci going to hell for sure. He murdered so many people and ruined the economy. Girl, I had savings. I had savings when we went into this fucking crisis. And then my business, like all real estate businesses, took a dump because of what was going on. And some businesses like mine never fully recovered with no savings this time, because I had to live on it. Believe me, I've got a personal bone to pick with Anthony Fauci. Shit. I hope karma gets that man good and hard. Seriously, we have to take into consideration these people are phenomenally, these people are phenomenally crazy. They're phenomenally crazy, and they're high on Satan, and they're high on power. And they do egregious things to get to these levels of power. When you take a look at what Fauci did for the Democratic Party, it's a travesty. At this point, listen, I'm not a political person. For the last 30 years, I would tell you, I believe in the Jewish Messiah, I believe in Mashiach. I believe no government should be governed other than, no one should be the boss other than King Mashiach. That's always been my stance, and always been what's prevented me from ascribing to a political party. Because just like I fully believe in the death penalty, I don't think we hand it out enough. I also have room for acceptance of abortion in situations that are not just rape and incest. I know of people who have gotten Haterim to terminate pregnancies, and it wasn't just to save their life physically, but for mental health. So across the board, I can't really call myself a Democrat. I can't really call myself a Republican. Now, can I? But then I take a look at these principles and I'm like, oh, well, they're found in Judaism. Nah. Right, which is why I've never believed in one party versus the other. Because let's be honest, Rifki, they were all on fucking Jeffrey Epstein and Mark Shamo's island. They were all eating people on the island. And we're supposed to let Democrats and Republicans separate us when they're eating people on the island together? Are you fucking kidding me right now? When the Sultan of Saudi Arabia and Ehud Barak and Barack Obama and Bill Clinton and Jeffrey Epstein and Bill Gates can all sit there and Ghislaine Maximo, the whole lot of these bitches, when they can sit there and rape and eat people on a fucking island, I don't think their political parties matter a hoot at that point. I mean, you can't say, and children too, they're sitting there eating people and raping children, and we're supposed to believe the things they tell us? I'll never get a vaccine again. Lord have mercy. They handed this to the QAnon people. They handed this to the anonymous people. They handed this to every conspiracy theory or conspiracy theorist. And we find out on a regular basis that conspiracy theories are just true. How long have they known about the aliens? We know nothing about aliens. Now there are so many alien sightings that there are so many alien sightings that no government at this point can negate they exist. That's why they're coming forward with the alien files. Well, Miriam, this is my podcast. I don't know why you didn't think murdering and eating children on an island wasn't going to be a topic of conversation. The topic of conversation today is Maximo Anthony Fauci, a Maximo, that piece of shit. And getting back to my point, what the energy says about this man is that he's, as they say, it's that song, a dead man walking. Someone's taking this piece of shit out. All right. Someone's going to do it. And that's not me inciting violence, spreading violence, calling for violence. That's acknowledging that's acknowledging the world we live in today. That's just making an acknowledgement of something we already know. And, no. Should justice be, should regular civilians take justice into their own hands? Absolutely not. But you know what? Happens every day. Someone shot Charlie Kirk out of Shalom in the neck for having an opinion. You expect me to believe Anthony Fauci isn't going to get a bullet in the somewhere because of what he did? Of course he is. He killed too many people. And in the world we live in today, when Jeffrey Epstein can be brought to the surface, when Charlie Kirk can be slain for an opinion, you better believe someone is going to shoot the fuck out of Anthony Fauci, a Maximo, and there is not shit the law or anyone other than the good old grace of God, who has no use for Fauci, obviously, can prevent. Anthony Fauci is a dead person that just hasn't been shot yet. Poisoned, shot, electrocuted, however they killed this motherfucker. I am telling you, he is probably the most hated person on the planet right now. I can't imagine he could go anywhere and be not blamed for someone's death. We have to understand the world we live in today. This is what happens to these people. This is what happens to them. And when people are cheering for the death of the United Healthcare CEO that was murdered, think about how many things this man could have been involved in that we just don't know about. I mean, you expect me to believe someone was I'm not saying he deserved to be shot, but I'm saying these people get themselves into pickles they can't get out of and they get murdered. This is what happens. That's not Yael's opinion. That's the way the world works, unfortunately. And that is going to wrap up our topic on Anthony Fauci. Because at the end of the day, this man, there's nothing, there's nothing good to say. I'm saying that he's he's a disgrace in every direction. And while I'm never going to tell anyone to take justice into their own hands, I do acknowledge we live in a world where people do that anywho. And I just, as a psychic, as a clairvoyant, as a person, I can tell you somebody is going to take justice into their own hands. And Anthony Fauci better watch his back, because the God that we all believe in doesn't forgive him. You don't forgive people like Hitler, which is like Anthony Fauci. So I guess the moral of the story is sucks to be him. Bang, bang, bang. I guess we'll see. Thank you so much for listening. That's your episode of the Kosher Intuitive. If you would like to make a private appointment, please reach out. My rates start at $200 an hour. Sliding scale of pricing applies for those who qualify. We also have the option of getting a consultation for free where I assess your situation, see if I actually can help you. And consultations are always free. Please watch out for my hilarious ghost videos. I finally have someone helping with social media. I'm so excited to see where we grow this year. And the next topic we are going to be talking about is the genocide in Iran that nobody seems to want to be pissed about. Thank you so much for listening. You have a wonderful and blessed day. And if this cause touches your heart and you feel inclined to do so, please donate, and I will tell you why. Most of my clients, I do high-level energy healing and clearing. There's only few people alive who are even capable of doing what I do for a living. All right? We save lives over here in this business, and I say myself and the women I associate with, my colleagues that I refer people, we save lives at the Kosher Intuitive. And no client is turned away because of their financial situation, whereas other people in this business will turn you away all day if you cannot pay $500 a half hour or $1,000 an hour or whatever they charge. So if you feel inclined to support the Kosher Intuitive, please do so, because we really do so much healing work. We work with so many rape victims, victims of kidnapping, victims of terrorism. We assist in missing persons cases. We do so much more than talk shit on the podcast and have a paranormal following. It's real energy healing. It's real clearing. And like I said, no one's turned away regardless of whether or not, what they can afford to pay me. We make it happen. Thank you so much. God bless you. Thank you for listening.